I would have to shoot it, make this more.
The orientation is gonna be weird.
Well, welcome to KOS, everybody. As we interrupt our conversations. What's up?
What up?
How you doing?
What up?
What are you doing here?
Just chilling, drinking some water, some coffee. You at the KOS podcast with everybody, having a good time, just chatting it up and just getting set up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's do what we're supposed to be doing.
The usual.
The usual.
So, this podcast is produced in part by Productive Culture. Productive Culture offers full-service production, mixing, mastering, and podcast services. So, if you want to get your podcast going, visit productiveculture.com/podcast and tell them KOS sent you and get your first episode recorded for free.
Free, gratis.
The low price of free.
I heard nothing in this world is free though.
That is true.
All right. Well, to my left, we had a special guest in the building. Josue, aka Siamese, or Siamese, aka Josue.
Hey.
It's a beautiful. Thank you for being here.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate you being here. I was looking forward to this. I was wondering who I wanted to bring on, and I was like, I'm gonna bring on my compa.
You already know.
Go from there.
Escape the trap.
Hey, for real though. We're gonna talk about that too in a bit.
Yep.
But so I wanted to ask you, give us a little detail about yourself.
All right, so I'm an artist. First and foremost, I'm an artist. I'm a producer. I mix as well. I dabble a lot in physical fitness. From mixed martial arts to just CrossFit. Everything that's like I really enjoy doing that a lot. It keeps me sharpened and focused every day. You feel me? It helps out. So it's that, and I'm also I'm very into communicating with people, talking and getting to know people, getting to the root of things, and not really like beating around the bush. You feel me? Like I like to have people know, yo, just tell me what you gotta say, and I'll tell you what I gotta say. You feel me?
Just get to the straight to the point.
Yeah. It's like it makes it easier, to be able to communicate and be like, wait, I don't know this person. Who is this guy? Straight up, yo, what's up, bro? How you doing? And if I feel like I gotta say something, then I'll just say it,
Right.
But it's good, man. I definitely have been meeting a lot of people these last couple of weeks. Things have been moving a little fast, but in a good way. I've been on a journey, as we all are. But yeah, that's a little bit about who I am for right now. But we can move along.
I was gonna ask you a quick question on the fitness and health, because you train with my homie Inner Strength, George.
Yep.
Shout out to George.
Shout out George.
Yep. Also, Vector trains with me, so I guess I'm gonna ask. We're just gonna ask this question. How do you made a comment about your fitness and wellness? How do you feel since you've been working out consistently that you've been mentally?
Right.
How do you feel about that? How does that make you? How does working out help you with everything else that you do?
It helps. At first, there was a struggle. To even want to have the desire to want to exercise, but I had to get myself out of that. I had to do the opposite, force myself to go out, force myself to communicate and look people in the eyes or everything, do the opposite. So after a long time of doing that, you do start to kind of reap the benefits of physical fitness when it comes to being able to just the breathing, especially breathing. Breathing and having good breath control has been helping a lot. This last performance I had yesterday, I could definitely tell, that I was prepared for it in every aspect. And it all comes down to physical fitness. To me, physical fitness is like 95% of everything, honestly. In my opinion, it's if you have physical fitness and you're doing that, if you have in mind that you want to progress also in the spiritual and the material and everything else, it'll just come. But as long as the physical and the heart is pumping all the time, I feel like that's what builds heart and determination a lot of the times.
What's your take?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that and can relate to what you're saying, because even when I first started working out last year, it was definitely a struggle, because with certain situations at the time, I wasn't able to be active for a while, so my body started getting a little bit sluggish.
Right,
so once it to get back into the routine was a little struggle. I mean, of course, there's been days where like, I don't want to do it, but in the back of my mind, it's like, no, I'm only cheating myself.
Yeah.
It's like, it needs to be a routine, and that way, my body will become used to it again, where body's will be like, oh, okay, it's good, consider it, like, it's another, routine where, as far as like, okay, it's gonna be the same thing, it's not gonna be a task anymore. Definitely breath control has helped substantially a lot. I mean, Nato can vouch for it. I mean, that was one of my weaker points in terms of breath control, either when I'm lifting a weight or like I strain a lot, is because, improper breathing control, or just getting exhausted quicker than I should be. So that's helped tremendously. And I challenge people, like, you need to learn breath control, it will help a lot.
Yeah, that's
a biggest thing is our breath. Like, at the end of the day, if more of us were taught how to breathe and work that breathing pattern, we would become more, in my opinion, in the flow state, because we would be aware of our breath, so aware of our breath that everything else just goes along with it. Because if you're breathing, you're living, and if you're living, you're breathing. So if you have that breath, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
So I think controlling your breath is like a big thing, and that's good though. I'm glad you guys both agree with that in breath control. How's the coffee?
It's really good.
Oh yeah, shout out to
Calligraphy. Coffee by Calligraphy.
Coffee by Calligraphy. What kind of coffee did you get?
I got a Americano, espresso.
Do you drink coffee a lot?
I do. I'm a very stimulant type of guy. Like whether pre-workout, whether this, like but I also smoke marijuana and stuff. So it's like a balanced medium, in between.
You get the best of both worlds. You get this, then you find you're like, I'm too stimulated with caffeine, so you just smoke some indica. I'm gonna be like, hey, I found my medium balance.
Yeah.
No, it was funny speaking about that, because Miley Cyrus, apparently on Instagram, she was singing to a song, and it had me dying. And she was recording herself singing the song, and she said, you get the best of both worlds. Her song actually best of both worlds. And she said, it's like when you take a little bit of Molly and smoke a joint. I was like, I don't know nothing like that. I mean, I guess
they call that candy flipping.
Yeah, you call it candy flipping.
Yeah.
What's the hippie flip?
Oh shit.
You know what a hippie flip is?
What is that?
What
is that,
off
bro?
the record? No, so a hippie flip is when you roll and you do shrooms.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Don't ask me how I know.
Oh shit.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I have friends. I got a lot of friends who are into the scenes of certain things that I don't fully partake in, but I partake in. That's the way to say it. But so normally on KOS we ask questions to get to know you, and we're gonna try to do things differently as we try to push KOS. So obviously you're a guest here today, so we're gonna ask you first, what's your topic, or what would you like to talk about? We'll give you like 8 to 10 minutes, and you just whatever you want to talk about, then we go from there.
Sure.
So the floor is yours.
Yes, sir.
If you want to shoot a 3-pointer right now, game winner, hit it. Go. Shoot your shot. Call people out, talk shit. We're here for all the just don't take anything personal.
Nah, bro, I feel that. But this is something that I've been talking about for a minute and been thinking about, and as far as vision goes, like having a vision. Before I had a vision for a minute. I had a vision, and I was out in Pomona, and it was around 2013-14 where I met with Tyrone, Lyrically Twisted. And he was like my mentor, and he was teaching me writing and creative writing, MCing at the Hip Hop School of Arts on Holt and Gary in Pomona. Shout out Little Caesar too. He was the one running it.
I thought you were talking about Little Caesar's Pizza for a second.
Hey, Little Caesar is across the street though.
Was it?
Yeah. But nah, bro. He's a shout out Air Force crew. He's a break dancer. Little Caesar. He went kind of global and everything. So during that period, it was a lot of growing and a lot of understanding, and it was almost like it was a glimpse as to what I can become, and then like it just went away because I started making the wrong choices. I started to get less involved. I started to get more into drugs and letting that take a hold of my purpose and what I was here to do.
Do you feel like when you I feel like I can relate to this big time. Do you feel like when you see your purpose or when you see where you can be and who you should be, do you feel like at that moment that's when temptation surrounds you the most?
Yes, sir. Exactly. Yes.
It's crazy, you know, if you really think about that.
Yes.
I even notice it with myself, everything I do. There's levels, like my dad and I were talking about last night at dinner, where you level up, you're gonna get, there's new levels and new levels, new devils. And he's like, there's always better out there. And so I asked him, like, well, when does content or discipline come into play of saying no of the bad but still walking to the good? So I think, thank you for saying that, because I don't think a lot of people would be okay with saying that, so I appreciate that. But I didn't mean to interrupt. I just want to ask the question.
You good, bro. You got anything to add, man? Anything you have on your mind?
Oh, no, not at the moment. Not at the moment.
For sure. Then, but yeah, man, so during that period, you know, and you know, I was doing a lot of drugs, doing like, you know, Molly, research chemicals, like ordering shit like online, and they didn't even have like names. They're just like analogs. They were like number B and whatever. Like, you know, I was like, ew, shit. Some of them said PCP, and I'm like, yo, I'm gonna try that, or I'm gonna try that. You know, like I'll be trying everything. And so during that time, I got lost, really lost, and you know, started picking up hookers and shit. You know, started, you know, doing all kinds of shit, bro. Like, you know, so it's like it gets to a point where like you just question, like, wait, where the fuck am I, bro?
Like, what was the turning point of saying, where am I? When did you stop? Like, when did you talk to yourself and say, yo, like, something's up?
When I got to that point, it was in a point where there's been many occurrences that way, but this one was really strong, and I was very suicidal. Like, I didn't even want to, like, be on Instagram. I was that guy that'd be on Instagram, be like, oh, these people think that this shit, like, what the fuck that, like, I don't give a fuck, like, all arrogant, you know? Like, I've been on both sides of the coin, so I understand, like, that perspective to the positive perspective to, like, so whenever I come across people that act certain ways or whatever, like, I don't pay no mind. Like, I'm like, bro, I don't take it personally, because I'm like, I don't know what you're going through, bro. You know, that's whatever, you know, you're going through. And so after that, bro, like, going through that, I would lock myself in my room. I wouldn't go out. Like, I couldn't look people in the face. If I had to go to the store, I got hungry or whatever, I'll overthink it. I'll be like, fuck, like, I don't know. I don't want to go to the store. Like, you know, there's a lot of depression, anxiety that I would have to deal with. As far as, you know, even like spirituality, when it came to like religion and me growing up in the church, and that having a very big impact on my life, and things I had to unlearn to be able to continue on my journey, and you know, letting go of a lot of religious things that were kind of embedded into my brain since a kid, you know what I'm saying, and like telling me, no, this is wrong, so it would put so many barricades in order for me to be able to like continue. And I'm getting to that point now where I'm able to, I've been trying to unlearn and learn a new self. Now, you know, after that, I just decided, you know what, fuck that. I would scream and I would yell and I'd go to the backyard. Like, my family can attest to that too. Like, they'd seen the ugly and they'd seen the good, you know, so after that, man, I got up and I started to do the opposite, and it's been since December that I really was thinking of ways to do it, and thinking of, man, but what is my family gonna think? What are they gonna feel like this? And all of that was going through my mind, and I just said no, and I fought through that, and I started exercising until it just became me, you know, and then that's what helped me. And a lot of, you know, God, I think the universe, I think myself, I think everybody that I meet, you know, because I said, like, I be a student, man. Like, I don't close myself to anyone, you know, whether it be my little brother, whether it be you, whether it be him, like, it doesn't matter who it is. Like, I can learn, whether it be about women, whether it be about like money, whether it be about, you know, spirituality, I can learn from anyone. You know, so that's what makes growth a lot faster, a lot speedier, because there's people, even though you might think, oh, well, that person looks like they don't know nothing, you know, but then they know a shit ton about women because they've been around women, sleeping with women and all this, and they know the game, you feel me? Like, so it's like gems that people be dropping on you, and if you're open to listening to it, it just helps you grow like 10 times faster, in a sense, I feel. You know, but, yeah, like, vision, going back to vision thing, like, you know, having a vision, and at that time when I was with Tyrone and everything, seeing how everything was taking place and how he had the rehearsal space, he was doing an open mic at the rehearsal space, and how it was just small, like how the business has grown, and like, you know, all the growth that I see in such a short span of time, like just the dedication and persistence, consistency with him is crazy, you know?
LT is probably one of the first individuals I met when I came into the open mic scene in Pomona, and just seeing how he conducts himself and everything about him, and the house, the recording studio, just the dope spot in general. And like you said, you could attest to it. He's a very disciplined, consistent individual. Even he would train with me a few times, and I didn't know that he would jog like on a regular basis. So he's another person who's active.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool getting to know that backstory and how everything comes around in a sense full circle. Because then we end up using the dope spot to record the album too. So it's interesting how you met him, and then all of a sudden everybody else just comes together and just like, oh shit, it's a big old circle of people and artists that coming together as a community, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah.
That's a lot of information.
For sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, okay, when it came to that vision, like now, I've been hit with something, like, it's just something, bro, like, it's not me, I know it's not me, like, that has just, like, taken a hold and been like, yo, bro, you gotta do this, like, you gotta do this, and I know it's God, it's whatever he's sending, but I know it's not me, you know, like me, this present form, like, I know it's something else that is here to do something, and, like, being able to, like, confirm that to myself and stand firm on that is what, you know, everybody should be able to do, and not let anybody take it away. You know, if they stare at you, or they be like, yo, who do you think you are, bro? Like, people are gonna test you for sure.
Oh yeah.
You know, if you're speaking this, if you gotta walk it too. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's why I stay ready, I stay prepared, I stay on my physical shit, I stay on my spiritual, I stay on my analytical shit, everything, because you just never know, like the scandalous, you know what I'm saying? Like,
it's true.
It always just, you don't never know when it will come up. So, you know, but just, you know, the whole vision and being able to bring up people and your whole community on the same frequency, like being able to work from the heart, and it's like you're working on the scale of the entire planet. You feel me? You're not working just for an individual gain. Like, you know, it's like you're working on global scale. When you're doing shit from the heart, you're not working out of fear, you're working out of like genuine love, and you're trying to help people. It's like, that's when it just brings the best out of people, you feel me?
I agree.
And so yeah, there's definitely a restart button going on right now, like a whole entire, you know, renewal of people, a new generation of people that are coming up and are about to take over, you know, the society level of control. And it's like, what are we gonna do with that? Like, what are we gonna do with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, the older people, the boomers, the baby boomers and all that, like, they're kind of, you know, they're going away. Now it's millennials, you know, but what are we gonna do? How are we gonna change? Or the only way we can change anything is we have to change ourselves. You feel me? Like, that's the only way. Like,
what do you, because one of the things I always like to talk about is improvement, evolution, and change. Speaking on that, how would you, so I hear how you've changed, but what would you like to see improve or change that you could help with? Like, you always saw how you wanted, last time I asked you what your superpower was, right?
Right.
You said inspiration, right?
Yeah, it's similar. It's influence.
Okay, so I guess through your more, I hear it in your music, because the post you posted the other day was on point. But can you give us more in depth to how you feel like you would bring change amongst us all? I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the humility thing. So humility, like, one thing that I always study, like, you know, I'm a big fan and follower of Kendrick Lamar. That's like the number one thing. It's all TDE for me. Like, to be honest, it's Kendrick Lamar, Ab-Soul, Isaiah Rashad, J. Cole in there. You feel me? Just TDE tree. Like, that's what I've studied, like, a lot since I got into rap and everything. And so, to me, to see that and to see the the influence, like to see that how they're using it and how they're able to have that much power and be able to still like bring a change in a sense, you know, like being able to do that, studying that and studying the lyrics and the words, what they say, like what they're talking about, and it's like they're teaching you, you know what I'm saying, like they're telling you. So for me, being able to bring change, the only way that I know I can bring change is to continue to be who I am, staying true to myself, and making sure that the humility that I have is not just short term. It's a long term.
It's a long term.
Feel me?
Humility
Like,
is discipline.
yeah, bro.
It's a practice. It's ritual. It's a legit practice.
You know. so you know, it's I definitely do feel that there's a change in the midst. I don't know how it's gonna pan out. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I know it's gonna happen as long as I continue to stay true to myself. You know, and I stay true to myself, and I speak it, and I continue to fight for that. You know, continue to fight for being true to myself. Like I know there's gonna be shit that's gonna, you know, affect me adversely sometime in the future. I don't know when, but as long as I know and I'm prepared that and mentally that's gonna happen sometime in my life, I can stay strong somehow. You know, I don't know how I'm gonna react to it, but I know that if I keep that in mind, like just stay the course and stay strong and stay focused, I'm gonna figure it out somehow, you know? And yeah, just working from the heart, like bringing change and bringing...
I didn't mean to kick the desk like that, my bad.
And, you know, just bringing out the best in people, bro. Like, you know, doing my best to always just be a light and happy around people. You know, it's difficult to... I think I told you, like, trying to be happy all the time, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. But, you know what I'm saying?
If I'm gonna be mad, I'm gonna be mad. I'm a happy, positive motherfucker, but I'm gonna be pissed. Let me be pissed.
Yeah.
That's why I hate the statement where it says like, just do a fixed phone. I'm like, no.
It's
Like, you get what you see.
Yeah.
No,
Shit,
man.
fake smile.
Don't fake a smile. I hate
Nah.
people who fake smiles.
Or the fake it till you make it like, that aggravates me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fake it till you make it. I'm gonna say this, like if we're going to talk about vision, like you have to have a vision of where you want to go, and you have to believe that. Well, fake it. We won't. I guess fake it and believe are two different things.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you believe it, and even if it's fake, it's gonna be real one day, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like whether that be having the idea of you wanting to change the world, whether that's you getting your goal weight, because people may say that's some bullshit to you, but to you, you believe it, and then you have to adjust everything to your lifestyle to attain it. In a sense, you're not faking it, but you're in your head. You've already made it. You're there. You're that person. But to everybody else, you're not.
Right.
They might consider you faking it, but to you, as long as you believe it, like you just said right now, it's going to be true.
Time, and only time will tell, you know, like, cause people could like not fuck with you right now and be like, I don't know, this food's probably like fake, cause it's an industry, bro, and like people fake it a lot of times, you feel me? But it's like time will tell, like you know, even though they don't want to like speak to you right now, or they don't want to like, you know, they don't want to follow you or anything of that nature because they're like, oh, I don't know, I don't know who this guy is. But then time will tell, like you continue to be and stay true to yourself. This is gonna gravitate people, bro, because they're gonna see that, like
the magnetic energy pull of it all.
Yeah, exactly. That's just the way it is, like, you know. But yeah, yeah.
No, I think life, it's like you just said, like going through trials and tribulations, because you have to go through all of that negativity in order for you to obtain prosperity, in my opinion. I think everybody's path is different, but at the end of the day, is when you want something big from life and you want to be successful at it, you have to be trialed, because you need to be battle tested, because you have to earn those stripes, because what's going to happen when you obtain that off the bat, whatever it might be, you don't know what to do with that quote unquote power. You might manipulate it, which people do, and they're aware of it, the 48 laws of power and manipulation, and obtaining what you want through manipulation. So I think it's important that you would go acknowledge all the evils that we go through and say, no, not today.
Right.
I'm gonna overcome you. I see you. I'm gonna overcome you, and I'm gonna live on with my day.
Right.
And be that better person, that better self of me that I know that's there. So yeah, thank you for all that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Let's
Again.
Yeah, some real shit.
What? One thing I wanted to add on to that also is, man, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
I thought you took some like muscle memory pills to help you.
I know, man. I swear. Oh yeah.
You need your money back.
I need my money back. Alpha Brain on it. Y'all fuck me up. No, I'm just kidding.
Alpha Brain, get your pills today.
But you know, yeah, it's definitely a very great journey this has been thus far, and it's only been like a couple of months, and I think it's just now starting to like seep out, you know, and I can feel it, and I'm just excited, you know, to get on this and
Talk on fish,
and talk, you know, but yeah, you know what I'm saying, we out here, we doing this.
We are. We got
Life
questions.
Alonzo.
Who?
Life Alonzo, he just said himself, he said innovation and creativity are driven by necessity and trials, and tribulations are a big piece of that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
You going
Go ahead, you go first.
Damn. Repeat the question again.
Innovation and creativity are driven by necessity, and trials and tribulations are a big piece of that.
Yeah, because you got you want to write about life, right? So when you start writing about whatever you get into your head, you're gonna get the trials and tribulations of it all, and you're gonna want to write about it, and that inspiration is gonna give you more creativity to go, because you might have this idea that you want to get something or create something. That trial and tribulation of ultimately getting that. Perfect example, when we did the Escape the Trap album. When we did the Escape the Trap album, we had to go through all the trials and tribulations to obtain that end result. So we had to go through the struggle and all that to obtain it, and it finally came forth when we made it happen. So I'm a firm believer in that statement, and thank you for that, because that was really what we should have. That you summed up everything we just talked about.
Life Alonzo.
Nice, Alonzo. Thank you, man. Thank you for the comment.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely attest to that statement as well. Like, I mean, trials and tribulations are just, for me, those are the fundamentals, and it served to me as, like, I guess for lack of a better word, like fuel for the fire.
Yeah.
Like, it gave me that motivation and that inspiration, and then, or that drive for me to just create like another piece or whatever, like creative aspect I was in at the time. So, I mean, those are definitely, you know, beneficial and very helpful, especially within, you know, those cases.
I want to apologize. I pronounced the name wrong. It's Life of Lozo, not Life.
Oh, Life of Lozo.
Lozo, yeah.
Lonzo?
Lozo. Life of
Lozo.
Lozo.
Oh.
Our apologies. Come on, man. Whoa. So I went to the restroom, so this is not awkward, but we're just kind of like.
Talk to each other. Sure.
So what's up, man? You've been quiet today.
Oh, nothing. I was just like, you know me, like most of the times I was just
What you
listening.
thinking about? What you thinking about? I know you're thinking.
You know, just
Say
thinking
it.
about like just goals.
Goals.
Or my goals that I need to achieve.
Like what?
Oof, I mean,
Well, didn't you accomplish your weight loss goal?
yeah, I did, but I mean, I have like other goals. I mean, that's just one of many.
Oh, that's good.
I'm very goal-oriented person. That's how I usually try to tackle my objectives, especially throughout the year. Whether it be just art, whether it just be just in general in terms of what's that word? Getting my objectives done.
Oh, let's say we all had brain farts. Did you take the pills too?
No.
No? Hey, how are you feeling over there? You took some too. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Is your mind
I'm
clear?
pretty, like,
Do you feel different?
I don't have that mental fog going on.
No?
You know what I mean? So I'm pretty clear at the moment.
What do you feel, man?
I mean, I feel the same.
No, man. I mean, I guess because I've seen reviews on YouTube and stuff. And some people like it's like they did a study on it, and so what they did was they got a couple of people that were placebo and a couple of people that actually took it. And then but the scientists or the people that were doing it, the conducting it, they didn't know like that who had placebo, who had regular. So then they did the study, but only I think it was like 16 people on each, and only 2 out of those 16 people actually had a difference with. So it's almost like, I'm not sure if it's like for specific brains. I don't know how it works.
Well,
I believe Lozo has a question for Justin over there.
Hey.
How do you build accountability into your goals, into your goal setting, so you don't fall into complacency?
damn.
Oh, he hit you with the hard ones right there, bro.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because
You're answering this next too.
as far as that, that's something that I always think daily. Accountability. And whether it be myself or accountability of others. So this is how I always approach.
He has a little follow up to it.
Damn.
Meaning, besides having a hard date, how do you track progress and not get stalled by perfection? I think that's an awesome question.
That's like a
Yeah,
you
because
just
like,
went jab cross.
and it definitely comes back to you, because I mean, I remember in our first issue we were like, oh, it's not perfect, it's like it needs to get out. But getting a little sidetracked, because I fall into that as well. It's like, oh, it's not perfect, and I fell victim to many times. As far as like not falling into that, like not going into hard deadlines, I usually keep a journal and a timeline. And once I get those objectives done, how it turns out, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I have to move on, just to keep myself in accountability. Another thing could be like not to go into my health issues. My accountability regarding that is sticking to that diet and the consequences that may happen if I don't stick to that diet. Whether it be more complications to health, or the reminder for me is the situation that happened to my mother. It's like, if I continue on this path with not checking my diet, then I can either fall into the same situation my mom has, or even worse. So that's one of the things that I hold myself accountability is the consequences of not holding myself accountable, whether anything in terms of in general. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So accountability, keeping yourself accountable. Yeah, a lot of it when it came to accountability, I do talk to myself a lot. I sit in my room and I'll have conversations with myself. Like, I'll look in the mirror and I'll talk to myself and motivate myself like if it was another person. I do make sure to do that because nobody else is doing that for you. You know, nobody else is. I mean, you have family and everything, and you have friends, but friends are on their journey as well.
Oh, definitely.
We all have our plates full with whatever we do. Family as well, they have their own things that they're thinking about, their own bills they got to worry about, everything, so it's a lot of times they can't have the same enthusiasm as you that you're having, but and I always try to look for external acceptance from them because of that. I'd always look for, I want their acceptance that, I'm doing something that I'm proud of. Like, I want them to feel, and sometimes it's not that way, sometimes they don't have the same enthusiasm. They're like, yo, that's awesome, mijo, cool, and you're like, man, I wish they could be like, yo, that's awesome, but it is what it is, at the end of the day, and learning to cope with that and being like, okay, families and parents, they also are people that grew up a lot of times in broken homes at the same time, or with parents that didn't know how to instruct them, accordingly.
Yeah, different situations.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of times, I don't take that personally anymore. Before I would, and I'd be like, yo, like, my
Boy, can't you be excited?
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that I had to come to terms with, like, you know what, this is my path, this is my life. I'm just gonna do what I need to do as long as it's not destructive. And like once I learned to let go of like, you know, my family's approval, like it just made life a lot easier.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, man. Yeah, and yeah, it's like, and you know, yeah, constantly reminding myself, even just saying thanks, like sometimes, like just thanking God, or just there's times and periods where like I'm just driving and like everything just piles up inside, what's going on, where I'm at. And like I just start crying, bro, and like I'm just thankful. Like I just start saying thank you, like just randomly, like at random times that happens, and it's very therapeutic, and I feel like it's a spiritual growth that's happening at that time as well. And you know, it's very personal. Everything is definitely a very personal journey, whether it's spiritual or anything. But talking to myself and reminding myself and being my own coach, like is the main thing of keeping myself accountable. You know.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think submitting to those emotions and being thankful for those emotions, whether they be good or bad, I think is very powerful, because a lot of us get caught up in the idea that we're kind of being attacked when things are coming at us. But my whole thing is you subconsciously ask for this, whether that be because you want something greater from life, or you just purposely might have put yourself in a situation where you're like, oh shit, I'm dealing with the consequences of my lack of responsibility, or it might be an overwhelming feeling of more joy versus negativity. And I think just sitting there and being okay with crying, being okay with your situation, obviously you want more because you don't want to be content with where you're at, but being thankful in that moment, I think, is another way to excel beyond contentment, because you're accepting all that is given to you, but at that moment you say thankful for it. You're acknowledging the fact that you are thankful, and once you are thankful for everything that you do or do not have, you then realize that you don't need anything else, and then everything else is whoop.
all right, we got another.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh no, life flows over you.
Damn, baby! Hey! Shit, we should get him on the joint. You don't take the seat next. Just be right here with us.
He said, gratitude keeps you grounded and reminds you to stay humble.
Yes.
Enough to appreciate others. That allows us to aspire for more and take others, you know, as mentors.
Yes, sir.
I like this guy.
Yeah,
He's dropping gems,
Yeah,
man.
you gotta
Shout out to Life of Lozo, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, life of Moses, he's just keeping gems. No, that's true. It's accountability is a big thing. I think even David and I, we meet Thursdays and we just talk. Even if it's just like for 20, 30 minutes, it's more of like, so what are we doing? Okay, cool. What's the plan? Okay, cool. Let's do it. And I think you need those kind of people. And truth be told, like with this podcast, at first like it was great, but then after a while it became another overwhelming, because you're just like, oh,
I gotta
shit.
do this, like,
I gotta do
oh, I
this,
need
I
to
gotta
do
do
this,
that, I
like,
gotta do this.
oh, this needs to get
But
done.
it's the accountability of we started this.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to finish it. And I think accountability, being around like-minded individuals, and we always talk about how, especially you and I, we always talk about, especially whenever we meet up every Tuesday, because I see you at least once a week, which is great. And I think that even if it's just once a week, like I see Justin every almost 5 days a week, 6 days, sometimes a week. So like I'm purposely in a spot where I need to be, not even just me, everybody around me has to, we're all feeding each other.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure that we're all here and being accountable. And once you realize that there's a bigger thing around you, and that just you doing your role, your whatever that role is, either it's a big role or it's just tying a shoe, your own shoe.
Yeah.
You accomplish your role to allow everybody else's role to grow. And over time, one day your role might be this significant, and one day your role might be this significant. But at the end of the day, they're both very significant in their own right.
Yes, sir.
Like this kind of ties into the last one. What Lozo said: if you're the smartest person in the room,
Get the fuck out of that room. Get out. And it's true, bro. It's interesting because it's a lot of people are okay with being in a room where they are superior to other people. In my honest opinion, I love being in a room. I dropped out of college and I don't have a degree in kinesiology, but I am involved with other individuals who have a higher education than I do. I love being stupid because I get to learn so much from them, and it makes me that much better. But at the same time, they're colleagues of mine, and they respect my knowledge and my wisdom. And it's cool being in a room where people are much more better than you because it forces you to level up. So yeah, be in a room, be the worst person in the best room, because chances are you're gonna be the best person, but you don't want to be the best person in the worst room, right? Because you ain't doing nothing, right? Yeah, that makes sense.
I just want to say thank you to Lozo. He said he just started following us today.
Hey, yeah.
And he said he asking questions because he got time today. Cause
good. We need be ready for our next podcast. Next month we're gonna need you to. We're gonna put you on the live stream feed. We're gonna text you, message you, be like, hey, this is what we're doing. Come through, kick it. No, I think
again, little random note. Shout out calligraphy.
Hey, where's this DJ button that does the star? What star does he do?
Mario star.
The Mario star. Cue the Mario star. Wait, we could add that in the video, right? That's your cue. Do it. Stars come out. No, man, and no, I think change. I think everything that we just discussed right now, I think it all correlates with the bigger scheme of things when it comes to change. Because in order to change and influence the world around you, you have to be able to change or improve yourself first. Because there's no, if you cannot change yourself, improve yourself, you cannot expect to do anything
for a big mission like that, bro. You gotta be, the person has to be self-sufficient. You know what I mean? Like it's like in every aspect, you know. And it's yeah, bro. Like exactly what you said. Like because there's a lot of people's like there's nothing wrong with it, but there's some that rely on others' self-sufficiency to be able to give them that, and some
Self-awareness of what you don't know is only a strength if you take action to better yourself each day.
God damn.
This guy dropping gems, bro.
This guy just,
he got time.
Hey,
he got the real time.
I'm good with the podcast. I'm gonna go home. We got everything we need today. No, that's true. It's it's understanding what you don't understand, and knowing that what you don't know is the difference between you being that better individual of yourself. And I think a lot of people are too afraid to admit that they don't know. And I think the other day I made a point on my story reflecting on Nipsey Hussle's passing, being around the kids that I'm around at Bloomington High School, and the environment that they're in. It's shocking because you have a bunch of young athletes who, just even kids in general, the community who are trying to get a better understanding of how to upgrade their life, and then their influences are forcing them not to expand in a sense because they see everything around them. Mm-hmm. And it's very mind-boggling because there's a few of the athletes who are willing to ask questions, and I always tell them like, yo, if you do not know, ask.
Right.
Because if you're afraid to ask a question, then unfortunately you're not going to be able to excel at anything in life because you have this idea that it's not okay to ask a question. Not ask.
Yeah, ask. Like, and whether you consider if it sounds dumb or not, regardless of
no
it, just ask.
Still.
Just do it.
Just do it. And if someone's not willing to answer your question, then if a teacher or a coach doesn't encourage you asking questions, then that person that you're with you shouldn't use them as a mentor. Because every coach, every strength and conditioning coach that I've been around, or any artist or producer, engineer that shies away from your questions, isn't looking out for your best interests because they're not willing to kick you their game. And I think if someone knows they're going to be successful, but yet they don't want to share their tools to make you successful, then their idea of success is not right, in my opinion, because there's more than enough to go around. So when you are a student asking another individual a certain question, that coach or teacher then becomes a student in return, because now he's kicking game to the person who asked the questions, and you have a channel of knowledge, of wisdom being exchanged within two people, and two people level up. Because we want to level up. We got 10 minutes left. Escape the trap. Coming to. Hold on, we're gonna talk about that in a bit real quick. You have any questions? I know you had one. No? Yes? No?
No.
No. Okay. Well, go ahead. If you want to talk about Escape the Trap, go ahead.
Hey, so Escape the Trap. Yeah, man. That was a pretty cool ride. You know what I'm saying? Starting over at the Vision X Studios, and I was up and running, doing. Remember that the first song, "Deceased," we did. We were just sitting down, just fucking sitting down with the lights off, having the little green lights, like little flashy ones. Just started playing guitar, and Deceased came upon like that. Like, you know, he just came in, Nato came in the studio, and I was just playing guitar.
And I yelled out, "Track that now!"
And he was like, yeah, he was talking to Nuncio, and then out of nowhere, he just came through, he was like, "Yo, what's going on? What's up?" And then, yo, I was just thinking, you know, maybe we could like do a track, and I'm like, well, let's go, let's do it. Just fucking started playing random stuff, and I recorded it, like the whole thing, just while I was just improvising. And it came out like that, like the guitar, we tracked it, boom. And then he was sitting down, just rocking back and forth, just vibing, and started writing. And freaking Nuncio comes in, just starts singing, and then just press record, and he just improvises the singing, and everything just came out like improvised on.
This is all I was doing.
You know, and it was pretty awesome. The energy there was just crazy. It was very mesmerizing. And you know, and then after that, Nato, he started writing out the whole board and writing out the tracks and the emotions he wanted to hit in each track. Like, that shit was just coming along, you know, and then you know, it was a lot of like
Adversity.
Yes, sir, exactly that. Adversity. Like, it was a lot of in and back and forth. Like, you know, there was times where I'd be stuck in mental shit, and he would be hitting me up, and Nato be hitting me up, and I wouldn't reply and shit, you know, and I wouldn't reply, and he'd still text me, like, that accountability, you know, he'd stay there, and he'd be consistent with it, like, yo, bro, like, I know you don't gotta text back, or shit like that.
Yeah, it was like, bro, like, I get it, but I'm just letting you know, like, I'm here, it was more me letting you know, and I think people should do this. If you have a homie that is a great person, or you see some type of fucking potential in them, be a fucking annoying. Be annoying to them. Let them know it's like, yo, like, you need, like, don't, like, just, like, always constantly hit them up, because you could be the difference.
Right. On
them, you know, finding themselves on a higher level.
And I appreciate that, bro, because it did make a difference. It did for the better, bro.
Hell,
you know, and so yeah, man, it started going up from that, and we started piling up the tracks, and you know,
we went from a nice Vision X to sleeping at Vision X Studio.
Yep.
To not having Vision X Studio, to not knowing what we're doing, to recording at your house, to recording at your room at the dope spot, to recording at the dope spot, to going back to your house, mixing the mastering. And it was a beautiful thing, because I think adversity, that shows your character.
Yeah.
Anybody's character, knowing that you got to go through all of this to obtain. Remember that when you left, that's what we're talking about how commitment, or whatever the first question he had asked, it's the trials and tribulations of, we want this thing done.
Right.
And we both went through trials and tribulations.
Yep.
But we got that shit done.
We were both, you with, like, not, remember, it was a gym, you were jumping around with, like, trying to figure out the gym situation.
That was true.
Everything, you had all your equipment, or at the studios, we're all just fucking, we're just living there, bro, like, you know,
living there.
You know, it's definitely a lot of adversity, but we went through it, man, and we came out on top at the end, you know, and we got the album out. Like, it's still, like, pretty surreal to think about, like, bro, we have a whole album out together, like, you know, and it's out, like, it's
out.
It exists.
Hey.
What'd you say?
It exists.
It exists.
Exactly.
It's a tangible thing that you can actually carry, feel, touch.
Yeah, it's in my room next to it's in my room. I have my copy in my room on top of the painting you gave me, next to the Kendrick Lamar album you gave me.
Yeah.
No.
So it's like my inspiration. While I look up, I'm just like,
It's a shrine.
my album's next to Kendrick Lamar's album.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. But I was gonna ask, Jose, I'm gonna ask you a question real quick. With your music, and obviously with everything we learned from you today, how would you describe your music in a sense, and how the creative process, if we could make it a little quick, because I know we're running on time.
Right. So, well, my creative process, you know, as far as like production and music in general, it's very unorthodox. Like, it's in a sense where
I love it a lot.
Yeah.
That's why I love working with you, because it's so unorthodox.
Yeah. You know, like it's never the same. I have no templates, and I don't plan on to. Maybe just for vocals and stuff. I do try to get some templates so it could speed up the process. But when it comes to production, it's always either I'm starting with a drum break, or I hear a drum break and I hear a sample from somewhere else on YouTube, and I'm like, all right, put these together, boom, there's a beat. Like sometimes it take like 10 minutes for a beat, sometimes it take 30, sometimes it take 2 hours, like, you know, because it's never the same. Like I always try to just approach it differently every time, so it's always refreshing and I don't get bored, you know. Because if I have a template and I'm always doing the same thing, like repetition is good, but it gets really annoying to me, you know, like doing it. But yeah, man, the creative process is definitely just flowing with it, you know, and you know, I know you definitely dig that, you know, just fucking going in there and just see what's up.
I don't fuck a game plan when it comes to music. Fuck a game plan. I'm just kidding, you need a game plan.
I mean, you know, they have the respective spaces, like, you know, EO, and come down to that, like the whole business side of music, like I couldn't ever really get my head around it, and I was like, bro, like, nah, this seems too, like, you know, like businessy, it's like too like superficial. I don't know these people and this and that, like they're talking about business this and paperwork this, and I'm like, nah, like what is this, you feel me? But after a while it's like, nah, you gotta like,
you have to accept it.
Yeah, and be like, bro, this is part of it, this is it. You know, and it's like after you get over that hurdle and it's like, you know, get down to brass tacks, all right, this is business right now, we're gonna talk about this shit and money and this and that, and you know, it's like, just talk about it, you know? Like, who cares if they're like, oh, how much you gonna pay me, or how much this? Nah, just, all right, bro, how much you gonna pay you? Let's get this done. Let's do it. Boom. And you know, it gets the money and the energy put into, you know, whatever it is you're trying to create and have come out. Yeah, man. After the whole business side, I don't know a lot of the business, but from what I know, I know enough to be able to, you know, run the bases. You feel me? And that's how it went from the creative process to the other whole shit, you know. I kind of derailed a little bit, but
it's all right. It happens.
But we good, bro. Like, but yeah, if we got anything else like we gotta speak on, or before these.
Quick question, another one. What's your opinion on the state of hip hop right now, where we're at?
I think we're in a refreshing state. I think we're in a state of renewal. I think a lot of there's a place for everything, but I think it's going back to its roots. It's going back to you know, speaking from the heart and not just, you know, oh, this, you feel me?
Another question.
Logo got something for you. How do you know a song you did is dope? Visceral, feeling in your soul, reaction from, or you get any reaction from friends, and then also being that unique and different, you probably have a different filter for how you know something is going to hit. So like it's like two
right. Oh, I like that question.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
So I guess the first part is how do you know a song you did is dope? Is the first question.
Right.
Before you answer.
Okay, go.
So for that, it's you know, going in with the heart, like, you know, putting everything I got into that song, because if I do that and I feel good about it, even after I release it, even after I already recorded everything, and I can listen to it over and over, and I'm like, fuck, this is tight, like it gets me going, like I know that's gonna make people get going, you know, because I put all my all into it, and like put my soul into it, I put my experience into it, and you know, I know that it's good. That's the way that I'm able to know, you know, that it's dope, that it's good, you know.
The second part is being that unique and different, you probably have a different filter for how you probably know something's going to hit. Do you agree with that, or? Yeah,
I do definitely agree, and think that there is like, regardless, there's every artist is doing like dope shit. They say true shit a lot of the times. Their approaches are good. They're dope. But there's just some artists, like the way that you speak and the way that you're able to put sentences together and rap them. It just it just like stabs the soul a lot faster. Like there's just certain ways that things are done and how the melodies come out, how the rapping is put together, like that. It just hits it a lot more, you know? And there, like, even though I'm saying there's a lot of rappers that are saying good, real shit, a lot of times, like, it's still missing a specific, like, it factor. Like, that's just how it is. Like, it's not playing down nobody or nothing. Like, it's just really how it is. Like, there's specific things. Like, anybody could vibe out, you feel me? Anybody could be in the show, rock a crowd, you know? But having the playing the level field and having the recording, the live, the performances, to your interactions with people, everything, like it does play a part in how, like, you know, shit.
Lozo wants to know where he can get his hands on your music at.
Hey, plug yourself in real quick. Go ahead. Actually, yeah, go ahead. That's how we're gonna end it. Perfect. That's perfect. Go ahead. Actually, yeah, go ahead. Plug yourself in real quick.
All right, so you can go. My main source is Instagram, so you can go at SIAME8, the number 8 Siamese. And then on there is like a link to my SoundCloud, to my most recent song. But also in Spotify, you can find it at Siamese, the same way as Instagram, iTunes, all of the platforms. And yeah, that'll be it.
Today, my roommate's mom said that she actually cried listening to Escape the Trap.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, so he does a great job of bringing emotions and feeling to his music, and I wanted to share that with you.
Thanks,
and
man.
I wanted to say it today too because it was perfect with that question. So
Thank you. And then Escape the Trap, our joint album, you can find it at Nato, Nato, on Spotify, iTunes.
Damn,
and,
you plugged it
you know, Nato be I know I plugged it.
Let's go, keep going. I like this. Makes me feel cool.
You know, but yeah, you got Instagram, I am New Age Takeover. You know what I'm saying? Like, dope ass cat. You feel me?
Thank you.
So,
thank you for being here with us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Vector, I'm pretty sure Vector appreciated it. I think it's the first time Vector's just been like this the whole time, like.
Listening mode.
Yeah, he's been listening mode. I was like, you okay, dude?
But as far as one more question.
Oh no, I just wanted to say shout out to Lozo for
Lozo, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Be
Thank you for your
very
energy,
interactive, bro.
your questions, and your
just
engagement, man. It means a lot to
And
us.
expanding on the conversation.
You
That's
helped us
been
expand a lot. Yeah, we need that
interesting.
today.
And as far as our plug, you can follow us at Untapped Hip Hop at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I don't know why I didn't do this a long time ago, but KOS Instagram page is gonna be coming up soon, so be on the lookout. So that
We got our own Instagram page now?
it's about to happen. I need to make one, so I'll talk to you in a minute about that. But yeah.
Yeah, and you can find me at I am New Age Takeover on Instagram and New Age Athletics on Instagram as well. Shout out to Lozo for all the questions. Shout out to our viewers, everybody who's tapped in. Shout out to Productive Culture for allowing us to be here. Shout out to D Will for being the amazing gentleman he is behind the camera. He's just chilling there with his thumbs up.
Monitoring our live stream as well from Instagram.
Yes, and our guest today, Josue.
Hey, that's what's up.
All right, on that note, peace.
Peace.
See you next time.